Oh boy. So we have game six. We have game six coming up. My goodness. So we saw how it started. A short-handed goal by the Oilers. As soon as that happened, I went, I've seen this movie before. And now, that first period was as chaotic as the first period of Game 4. But Edmonton had a lead, and it got crazier. 2-0 early in the second, and then you know who made it 3-0. You know who I'm talking about, right? That kid that wears number 97. That kid who wears number 97 and who everybody thinks is the best player in the league, even though Nathan McKinnon exists. Yeah, him. So, yeah. Kachuk made it interesting, but so did Corey Perry. Corey Perry, of all people to score power play goals, and let's talk about that. Let's talk about how that power play happened. A slash on Kachuk. All he did was tap Connor David's stick with his stick. I guess that's a penalty now, because I've seen players get their sticks knocked out of their hands. They don't call anything. I remember Mikko Ranson from my Avalanche got his stick knocked out of his hands. No penalty there. Anyway. So Corey Perry made it 4-1, but it became 4-2 and then 4-3. Florida couldn't tie it. And we all saw the empty net save. Kachuk dove to get that puck out of there, but all that happened was it ended up in Connor Davis' possession and Game 6 Friday. Ooh. This is getting very interesting. For one, Connor David could end up with the Conn Smythe, win or lose. That's how. You know how I know that? Have you seen his numbers? He has 42 points overall in this run. 42 points. He has 11 in the final already. 11, and he's not done yet because he's going to be playing at least one more game, maybe the maximum 2. This is his first Cup final. Remember, they got shot in Game 1. He only had the 1 point in Game 2. He's had 10 points the last 3 games. That's the McDavid I know. And he's got 11 points in the final. He's got 42 total. Only 3 overall single-player performances in the playoffs are better than that. This is a historic run he's on, and the consensus, the majority says, regardless of what happens, he should get the Conn Smythe, and I can't help but agree with that. If he gets it even with the Oilers losing the final, he'll be the 6th player in NHL history to win the Conn Smythe despite losing the final, and the first since John Sebastian Giguère captured the Conn Smythe in 2003. Even though he lost the final, of course they couldn't help. You had to give it to him. I mean, he just had. I remember that year. He had that great performance, 5 shutouts. It wasn't giving up anything. It's just that the Devils scored at the right time. That's how you win. But yeah. So Game 6 is going to happen, and with this, the Oilers join some pretty rare company. Take a look. That's right, folks. The Oilers, this year's Oilers, became the 4th team in Cup final history to force Game 6 after falling behind 3-0. Only the 4th team to do it. Now, in backwards chronological order, the last team to do this was the New Jersey Devils 12 years ago, and I remember this. Because that was the Cinderella Kings run. They were the 8th seed, and they were winning all these road games. They went up 3-0 in that Cup final, but they had trouble finishing it a bit. The Devils won games 4 and 5, but in Game 6 in LA, the Kings would just score goals left and right. They won 6-1 and took home their very first Cup. Before that, you had to go all the way back to 1945, basically right after World War II ended. As World War II was about to end. The Detroit Red Wings won games 4 and 5 to force Game 6, which they won, but they lost Game 7. That was to the Toronto Maple Leafs. And the first team to do it, of course, we all know this team, the Maple Leafs in 42. Of course, we all know that. Of course, we all know what happened with them. They forced Game 6, they won it, and then they forced Game 7, which they won. The only team to pull off the reverse sweep in the Cup final. And the Oilers are 2 wins away from doing that. So we'll see what happens on Friday, because it's a travel day, because it's 2 days off. So it's headed back to Canada for game number 6, and that's going to be a raucous crowd, because regardless of the outcome, this is the Oilers' final home game of the season. So, and that crowd's going to be all over the place, wild and loud. We're getting Game 7, aren't we? I just know it. Something tells me the Oilers are going to take Game 6, win it in front of their home crowd, and that'll put the Panthers' backs to the wall. I mean, if the Panthers get reverse swept, considering they were this close to winning their first Stanley Cup, that's going to be a heartbreaker. But we'll see what happens on Friday. So Game 6 is Friday. That's my recap of Game 5. What a game it was. If you like this video, click the like button. If you're on YouTube, click subscribe if you want more. If you're on TikTok and Instagram, feel free to hit that follow button. My story about Game 5 will be featured. Check it out when you can. And I'll be back on Friday to recap Game 6, either with some congratulations for the Panthers, or for a word of warning to the Panthers that you're about to fuck this up. So stay tuned.